What's going on, guys? We are back for episode 3 of the prep series, and today we got arms. Not much really to say, honestly. It's an arm day. It's very basic. There will be a sprinkle of shoulders in there as well, but I do want to give a quick cycle update as well. So the cycle is still 490 test, 490 mast, split into 70 milligrams every single day. But recent addition is 10 milligrams of tren every day. So the tren is in. It's a little bit early because we are just about to be like just under 16 weeks out. So it is early compared to what people typically do. But the reason for that is because I've never taken it before. So we wanted to introduce it a little bit early just to see kind of how I respond, make sure it's a good fit. And if anything were to go wrong, we can pull it early enough and still make a full bounce back and finish out the prep strong. So that's the idea behind that. Also, 10 mgs a day isn't anything insane, so shouldn't be any negative side effects from that. But if there were, obviously we want to catch them before we throw it in at 10 weeks out, and then the prep's kind of dicey from there. So that's kind of it, kind of experimenting with tren a little bit. So far, so good. We've had it in for a week now. We started it on Sunday, so feeling pretty good with that. Definitely can feel it with the training. It is tren ace, so it gets in the bloodstream a little bit quicker than tren E. But yeah, that's about it. We're seeing some pretty freaky changes. Like day to day, we're looking a little bit better. And so that's really nice to see at this point out. Just continue to improve every single day. Still at 40 minutes of cardio 5 times a week. So hitting the stairs on that, and 12,000 steps every single day. That is our cardio and steps regiment. Nothing too lofty. It's pretty easy to get. Do have to make sure I dedicate a walk typically at the end of the day, but honestly, that's been a blast. I can hop on the phone with clients or whatever I need to do, listen to a podcast, and my physique looks sick. So I walk around with my shirt off, sun's out. So I got a little bit of a tan, which makes me look a little bit better when I go and check the pump or take any photos or anything like that. So I can't complain there. And nothing like getting out, fresh air. It's a great way to end the day. Feel very accomplished when I'm done with it. So very good. That's really it. A little bit of a car yap there. Let's get into arms. All right, and our first movement is the tricep extension. We're using I don't know, call it the Vulcan, whatever. Basically, just the straps. Kind of put your hands in here. I like it. It's a good connection to the triceps. I feel like it hits all heads of the tricep equally. Able to load a lot of weight and really just control it very well. You'll see what I mean here in a second. I did do my feeler set, so I got a good working weight here. Nothing fancy about an arm day. So just a lot of the same shit. That was good. That was very good. On this one, I really try to focus on a nice good squeeze at the bottom, kind of pausing, taking the momentum out, because on this one specifically, or a lot of tricep movements, tricep push downs or extensions or whatever, if you don't take the momentum out, a lot of times your arm's gonna start to travel forward, then you get more shoulder and stuff, more lat, which sounds weird. But instead of just having it be the tricep, you're gonna start coming forward and letting it rip. And then you come in, you're gonna get just a little bit of lap, but that's not a real issue. The issue is that you lose all the tension on the tricep itself. So, it's a tricep extension. It's not any other extension. So you only want triceps on this. So take the momentum out of that bottom. So really focus on getting a good squeeze when you're at the bottom. Pull it on the way up so you're able to really just maximize tension throughout. And a lot of people run into elbow pain or something. I get that a lot from clients. Your elbows hurt. If you control through the whole movement and you're not just ripping around like an idiot, you're not gonna load the tendon in the joint as much, especially with isolation exercises. So when you do go heavier and you control things, you're really loading the tricep. I only right now feel my tricep. I don't feel anything else in my entire body. I don't feel my joints at all. I feel nothing, just my tricep, which is the goal of the exercise. Also, you'll see me a lot on my phone. All I'm doing is logging my exercises. I sometimes switch up the gym, so it'll say from the previous one, but I switch up the exercise sometimes. So typically I would do it with a bar. Today we're doing it with this. So I just had to switch the weights. I'm a big proponent of put your phone on D&D and just don't don't be glued to your phone like an idiot. You're here to work out. You're not here to text your friends or make plans or whatever the fuck. Pick your song, log your weights, work out. Also with arms, don't need as long as a rest period in between sets. So let's get after it. Also, I'm a big proponent of like 2 sets. Like I don't think I'm gonna get that much more. I gave everything on those 2 sets. I'm not getting any more reps, and I'm certainly not like, there's some things where I'll cheat a little bit and get a couple extra reps. Things like this, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe on like compound movements I might move a little, but typically I try to stay right on the muscle that I'm targeting. Because again, if you're not feeling it, it's not growing. I don't want to feel anything else but the muscle I'm trying to train, which right here is my tricep. So 2 sets there, that's all we're doing. Next up, we got bicep curls. Now, this is a bicep curl machine that I reviewed on my Instagram, actually. It's a pretty solid machine. I really like it. If you saw that Instagram reel, then you know that my one complaint was that if you have bigger legs, you're kind of fucked. Here, luckily, my legs aren't that big yet, but definitely don't have anything in your pocket. Once again, I do a feeler on everything, so I know I can do a plate and a quarter here, but I just have a quarter just to make sure that everything's kind of lined up right. Kind of find my rhythm a little bit. And see, like here, I'm gonna move the seat up like 2. It wasn't right where I wanted it. So now, when I go back through, well, you can't really see it, but it's now right where I want it, right in the meat of the bicep, which is where I want to feel it. So that slight adjustment made the movement 10 times better. So play around with your equipment when you go to use the truck, just hop in and do it. I think I said that on my chest day too, but like, it's real. Like, I see too many people just hop right into it. Don't adjust, don't do any feelers, they just throw the working weight on and go for it. It's like, yeah, like you're still gonna be able to do it, but just take an extra minute and just really find that spot where you're gonna get the most out of the movement and really find that connection, and that's how you're gonna get it. Oh. That was a good set. That's what I'm talking about. And see, the whole time it was just right wanted it, right in the meat of the bicep. One little feeler set just making my work sets that much better. That was good. Almost kind of want to add like 5. All right. Second working set. And then it's time for my favorite machine ever, which I'll get to in a minute, but I also did a review on that one too, you'll see. Good thing I added some weight. Now it's time for my favorite machine. So this is like my favorite tricep machine ever that I've ever used. It's a machine overhead extension. And I talked about this on my Instagram, but this is the pinnacle, because if you've ever tried to do the overhead extension on the cable, setting that up is just a pain in the ass. And so on this, there's no setup really. Like, it has like the little foot lever thing that you can't really see, but it's down here. So I can press that and it goes up, leaves for a good setup. So I think it's fantastic, and it just makes it easy to get in a really good position. Now, again, I already did my feeler set, so we'll go up to my working one. Good thing I did a feeler set, because this seat was 2 notches lower and I couldn't get full ROM. So again, I'm gonna stress this a lot, but set your fucking machines up right. So much just tension and focus on the tricep again. It's just fantastic, and you can really drive through the movement. And I don't know, it's just the best. Another thing too is kind of cueing. So like, you'll notice when I had my arms up, I was really thinking about bringing my elbows in. Almost trying to like touch my elbows, basically, is how I think about it. And what that does is mean that like, sometimes you might flare, which would be fine. But if you bring it in, you're gonna feel a lot more tension on your tricep. It's gonna stretch it all that much more. So I just think that's the best way to do the movement. And that's really the only cue here. Try not to drive through your shoulders. I did that on like 2 reps in there, where I kind of like use my shoulder a little bit. And it's easier when you have like a single arm movement. It's harder here. You can still kind of like drive your shoulders up a little bit. So try not to do that like I did. And that way, again, you're gonna keep the focus all on the tricep, and then you're just gonna have fucking huge triceps. That's really all there is to it. Second working set here, and then we'll move into the shoulder segment, because the shoulders can never be too big. So I like to kind of sprinkle in some lateral raises on other days, so like my arm days. They're on my chest days, chest and shoulders. And then, I mean, actually, that's kind of it. I used to sprinkle them in on my leg days, but I was like, it's kind of weird. So I stopped doing that, because if I get them on my chest and shoulder days, and then my arm and shoulder days, you know, I'm getting like 15-ish sets a week, which is plenty. I find that that's been good for them. So before, I think I was like kind of over-programming them a little bit, not giving them adequate time. Not that they're a big muscle, but like just the way that I was hitting them was kind of strange. So dialing it back made it a little bit better. But let's get into the set here. Drop set. That was a good set. I like to just rip the drop sets from time to time. Certain times I'll do rest pause. For me, I find that a drop set on like arms or like certain other movements, so like chest flies, quad extensions, that type of stuff, those type of movements, I find to get a better result and a better feel from just a regular drop set. But I'll do like a rest pause on like chest movements, like a chest press, incline press, flat press, a lot of my rowing movements, certain leg movements when I'm feeling it. But yeah, it just depends on the movement for me. Both are very valid intensifiers, and I encourage you to attach intensifiers to your workouts no matter what, because you're always able to squeeze like a little bit more out. Like I failed with my working weight, but then you see I dropped the weight, I mean a good amount. I went from 200 to 130, so I dropped 70 pounds off. Then I was able to get a few extra reps, like 4 or 5 or something. I kind of lost count, but an extra 4 or 5 reps, man. Is that going to be the difference from you having a fucking crazy physique? Not in the short term, but if you attach an extra 4 to 5 reps, you know, on every exercise, or you know, your last working set, for example, like I do, I mean that's definitely going to amount to something significant over time. Because again, this whole thing about getting huge in bodybuilding, it's a long-term thing. It's not like you do one workout and get bigger. That never happens. But it's the repeated workouts. And if you're able just to squeeze a little bit more out, you know, an extra 1 to 2% every time, that's a lot. You know, if I hit arms, say once a week, like I do right now, that's 52 arm sessions in a year. That's a lot of extra reps, man. Always squeeze everything out of it. Leave nothing on the table, and you'll get big. Back to regularly scheduled programming. Lateral raise machine. Now, my gym has 2 of them. One of them, I don't know, one of them is kind of meh, the other one's pretty good. Sometimes I like dumbbells, but the machines I've been having a really good connection with, and I'll show you why. So this is the lateral raise machine in question, just the Arsenal one. You might notice a trend in my gym. It's a lot of Arsenal equipment, which is cool for some things. Some pieces they make really, really well. Other pieces, Arsenal maybe isn't the best, but for this one, it's really good. Sometimes I use a lifting strap here, but I find that when I do that, I'm not able to like keep my arm as straight, if that makes sense. Like I definitely feel myself kind of giving out. So like I'll give an example here because it's kind of weird to explain. I go in, and I'll grab whatever, and then coming up, I like to like really lead with my elbow here, and I even turn a little bit. So then it comes up, and it's a lot of side. So it's like all side delt, obviously. That's the main goal, right? But when I get a lifting strap, I find that when I'm like up here, my elbow will kind of drop a little bit, or like go like super straight, or I'll end up like kind of shrugging more. Like I can't keep that fixed arm with like a slight bend in the elbow and up. I find that I kind of shrug it more, and it's more the trap takes attention off the lateral delt, which is obviously what I'm trying to train here. So good in the sense that you don't need grip strength, but honestly, if you're not like a toddler, your side delt shouldn't be stronger than your grip strength, if that makes sense. Like on a machine like this, you should be able to hold on to it. Same with dumbbells, honestly. Like, you're probably lateral raising, 30s or 40s or something. So if you can't hold on to that for 12 reps, like, I don't know, you should probably figure something out. We'll get into it. I always start on my left side. It's always what I've done. My left side always tends to be a little bit weaker than my right side, or like a little bit smaller, maybe underdeveloped or whatever. So I always start with my left side. It's always my weaker side, and it's just a great way to fix imbalances. Now, something I do for certain movements is I don't take as long as a rest in between the sides. So like if my left side is falling behind on my right side, I would be able to get more out of my right side if I were to let it fully rest. So I don't do that in an effort to match each side. So I get like 12 or 13 of some partials on my left. I'm gonna get like 12 or 13 and no partials on my right side. And it allows for it to catch up. The partials aren't gonna make that substantial of a difference where now all of a sudden the left one's gonna overshadow the right side, but it'll allow it to catch up and give it a little bit more focus and attention so it can catch up to my right side. And not resting in between makes it so that automatically, like my CNS is a little bit more fatigued going into the right side, so I'm not able to output my max from the right side, if that makes sense. I hope I explained that pretty well. That's how you fix imbalances. That goes for everything. That's what I've done for my quads, to bring them up to be more even. They're not exactly where I want them right now, but they're getting there. They're a lot better than they used to be. So just takes time, once again, but that's how you fix imbalances. All right, 2 more sets here, and then we're actually on to our last movement, which will just be a machine preacher curl, like a cable machine thing. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite preacher curl in the world, but it gets the job done. It gets a pretty good pump, and I feel a good connection there. It's different than the bicep curl that I was doing previously. It was still elbow supported, but my arm was basically behind me versus the preacher curl where my arm is in front of me. It's different. But let's finish up these lateral raises, get some big ass delts, and then it's biceps, and check the fucking pump out. Lateral raises are one that's a little weird to do. Like I'm pushing it to failure, but not like true failure. I know it's like, oh, you're being a pussy, but no. If I'm going to like absolute failure, like I couldn't even move it anymore, I'm gonna start recruiting a lot of my trap. And it's gonna take a lot of focus off of side delt, which is again, what I'm trying to train. And so there's this big emphasis on accuracy, especially when I'm trying to bring up certain muscle groups, like my arms and my shoulders, to match everything else. Big emphasis on accuracy. And the more I like just kind of go ridiculous through them, the more I'm going to take that focus off of the side delt, put it where I don't want it, put the blood where I don't want it, put the focus where I don't want it. And so I'm going to mechanical failure, where I can no longer properly perform that movement with the desired muscle, and that is leading to form breakdown. And honestly, once you reach mechanical failure, you're not really getting that much more out of that muscle, and that's where people run into injury. You just start recruiting a bunch of shit that doesn't matter. You know, you start really wearing on the joint specifically with like a lot of shoulder movements. Trap, you know, like a tight neck. You feel like, yeah. I mean, that's obviously extremes, but there's a reason why I'm not just fucking sending the weight all around like a goofball. So that's my reason there. I'm not training like a pussy. So that is it. It's now time for the bicep curls. Side delts or toes. On that one, I got a little messy. Definitely felt more traps, but that's what I'm talking about. It's like shifting the focus and going to where I don't want to go. So just call it there. Side delts are smoked. I'm not getting any more out of them. Doing more sets or more volume right now is just simply not going to be productive for me, and I know that. So on to the bicep. Ooh. All right, so we have our preacher curl. This is the last movement here. Like I was saying before, this is slightly different than the other one. And the other one was a little bit behind me, this one in front of me. So it's a different setup on the bicep, different kind of sensation. I don't know, whatever. You get the idea, but we'll hop right into it, finish this up, and get out of here. Preacher curls are always those ones that's like, it is dicey to go to like extreme lengths of failure here, just because I always like, and it's in my head for sure. We always see the videos, people just ripping their bicep from the insert, and it's like, it's so scary. But obviously, like the weight on here isn't more than I can handle. I'm not lifting like an idiot. It's nice and controlled, so the risk is very low. But it's still in my head where like I don't really want to push it to that point, take the risk for one extra rep maybe. And at that, you know, it's like the risk to reward isn't really there. You know, it's like going for 1 rep maxes. It just doesn't make any sense. So get enough stimulus here and then just go on. But this is a good movement. I feel a connection very well with my bicep. Gets a lot of blood movement in there. And just overall, it's a good contrast from the other bicep. But again, you don't need as long of a rest period in between fucking arm sets. They're not supremely taxing. 60 seconds maybe, and get into it. Buddy, we're gonna do a drop set here. I think that was only like 9 reps or something. So squeeze a little bit more out, get a better pump. And then dropping the weight also allows me to squeeze out a couple of partials that aren't so scary because there's less weight on here. The risk to reward is actually worth it here. But that's a wrap for arm day, man. Very simple, not a lot going on, very effective. Now comes the best part, is to check the pump. Once again, the beard's coming in clutch to hold the microphone so we can adequately check his pump up. Oh yeah. Now that's a good look. That's good. Now that's a legit look. That's a pump that I'm happy with. Pretty stoked about that pump. It should stick around for a little while. So when I'm up to the 4th of July festivities, I don't look like a stick. One more shot, then it's time to go eat. All right. And that's actually a wrap for arm day. Time to go eat. So we are back home. We are going to have our post-workout meal. So 160 grams of chicken breast, 300 grams of jasmine rice, and 120 grams of pineapple. Get that down and go for a walk. Get some more steps under our belt because, like I said, we have 12,000. So that, requires me to do some dedicated walking during the day. It's not just something that I will get throughout the day. Typically, I have to do a walk anyway to get my 10,000, but with 12,000, I have to really set aside some extra time. So I like to get a walk, usually after my post-workout meal, really help the digestion out, get things rolling in, because it is very important that I get this meal in now because we are primed for refilling the glycogen stores in my body. So between the rice and the pineapple helping with digestion and then going for a walk, it's going to get in there real quick. We're going to be filled up, looking fantastic, feeling great, and start the recovery process right away. So that's absolutely vitally important. But other than that, that's really it. Quick, simple arm day, a little bit of eating. Let me know if you guys like the lifting videos more, or if you want to know more about the behind the scenes, like what I'm eating or how things are structured, or kind of like what a day looks like for me. Like, let me know what you guys prefer. I like making the lifting videos, but I also just kind of like making videos in general. I like sharing my journey with you guys. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to watch and I will make it happen. And if you guys want to know anything specific about my journey or why I do things a certain way or whatever, let me know that too down in the comments below. Drop a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.